Are you ready for this sickness? Let's get into it. Hi. Welcome back to Economics and Comics. I'm Bill. This is Joel and Mike Massey. They're from GoneWithTheTwins.com. You can check them out now on YouTube and at their website, GoneWithTheTwins.com. They have a million movie reviews. They're really good. They took me to see Amazing Spider-Man Far From Home.
No, that's not what it's called. It's just called Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man.
Got back from X-Men.
Hey, look at me. I'm the comic book channel. I don't know anything. So we're going to we're going to spoil it, some of it. So if you don't want to know, I can tell you now. I enjoyed it, and you can leave now. But if you want to know what happened, we're going to get into it and talk a little about the movie itself. If you're new and you like this stuff, please sub, check out their channels, throw me a like, leave some comments. Let's go.
Okay, so this is basically taking place directly after Avengers Endgame. So basically, Spider-Man is having to deal with the loss of Iron Man. The movie starts with kind of it starts with a quick thing with Mysterio, but as you get this like funny little video as like an in memoriam of Iron Man. And this is like a theme that I think keeps coming up throughout the whole movie is his difficulty in trying to fill Iron Man's shoes or simply just cope in this world without his hero and the world's hero.
Yeah, for me, the interesting thing is that they address for the first time what they're calling the blip, which is Thanos'
the
snap.
event. Yeah. The snap is the blip. And the blip, the whole event, the blip from the snap to coming back 5 years later.
Yeah, they address it, but they kind of just gloss it over with humor.
So. Yeah, but at least they address it because
sure.
there's a particular character, the Asian guy who's now 5 years older than everybody else, and all of a sudden he doesn't fit in, and he's matured beyond all these other high schoolers. So
here's what doesn't make sense about that. What the hell is he
still
in their class?
Yeah, why would he still be in that grade? Yeah,
did they just stop school for 5 years after the?
Not for 5. They do mention there's a line where they talk about how they've stopped the year and forced kids to redo the year that they were currently in, but when they disappeared. But yeah, there's no real addressing why that one guy is so much older.
I thought they were saying he disappeared too. When he came back from the disappear, he was tall and big. It doesn't even matter. He's going after Mary Jane. Peter Parker, this is Peter Parker, Mary Jane time. He's trying, awkward Peter is trying to give her something, and they're on a European vacation and all this stuff. And, he's the guy that's trying to get her too. But of course she loves Peter Parker. It's Mary Jane, guys.
Yeah. This is actually my favorite part of the movie is the all the high school basically shenanigans that they're getting into again. They did this a little bit with the previous one in Homecoming. But it's an effective use of humor, effective use of showing the kids growing up in high school, all of the, failed romances, the flirting.
It's funny.
It is really funny. Yeah,
they have a whole nother movie with the whole relationships with the kids and the European vacation. Just imagine that, European vacation with a bunch of seniors. I'm guessing they're seniors at this point. No, they said they were 16, so they're like sophomores, juniors. Yeah. Regardless,
which is strange that they're going on a trip to Italy, right?
But, well, I went to a school too. Yeah. We're not getting into that. Anyway, so Mysterio shows up.
Claiming to be from another dimension, right?
Yeah, and it's really kind of awkward. I mean, it's cool, but he's like fighting water demons, fire demons.
It's the
they're calling the
elementals.
Eternals.
Or elementals, that's what they call them. Because it's fire, water,
I thought you said Eternals.
And wind.
I want to say elementals, but now I don't.
Well, it makes sense. It's elementals. So anyway, to I don't want to make it long story short, but Happy gives Peter Parker a gift from Tony, and it's his glasses. And you know what? I didn't see Stan Lee at all in this movie, but I think the glasses not only represent Tony Stark, but Stan Lee, because they have a Stan Lee square type of glasses. But what it is like a computer thing. He puts it on. Tony Stark left him everything.
Yeah, it gives him access to multi-billion-dollar computer.
And there's it's really funny. We don't have to talk about it that much, but he gives it access. So Mysterio in the battles and all that, and Mysterio makes friends with him. They defeat the bad guys or whatever. And Peter Parker just wants to be a high schooler. He wants to ask Mary Jane out, that type of stuff. So Mysterio basically convinces him, in his own way, hey, I'll be nice to the kid and he'll give me the glasses. So he does give him the glasses, and you find out, spoiler guys, that it's all fake. It's all illusions. It's what is it?
It's drones and
he's
computer
using
technology.
It's all computer
high-tech
tech.
hologram.
In the scene where Tony's in a couple episodes back, I think it's Iron Man 3, actually, where Tony has these glasses on and he's got a virtual reality where he's revisiting his parents again and stuff like that in the other movies. That's the tech that Mysterio designed. And Tony Stark basically stole it and called it barf. And so it pissed him off. So there's a lot of ex-employees for the Stark Industries that were angry at Tony Stark. So they built this whole illusionary thing because they figured after the snap, you can convince anybody of anything. And he wants to be the greatest hero now. But basically that's what he wanted, power. And,
Yeah. He wants to be
recognition.
It's an interesting premise, and it also, I feel like it's a slightly better villain than some of the previous films.
Well, it's an interesting on-point tie-in to the social and political climate that we're in now, right? The idea that people are very quick to believe anything.
Yes.
That people want sources of information that they believe in, and also the idea that you can deceive anyone, and all of the misinformation.
To be fair, though, the use of this drone technology is so advanced that everyone is literally seeing all of these illusions in front of them.
It's the theme that's potent, not necessarily the execution of these. Although drones in and of themselves have been making the news recently, so I feel like it's very it's an ever-present sort of an idea that it's interesting that they tie that into, because this is the superhero for this new. Or this is a superhero story for this new generation.
And I like
kick off Marvel's new kind of.
I guess it is fairly faithful to the comics, but I like that Mysterio does not have superpowers of his own. He's a he's
illusionist.
He's using trickery basically to give him powers, and it's very effective, and it makes it. I think it's a little bit more of an interesting villain.
And the whole thing about like the different multiverse, the Snap created multiverses. All the comic community said, well, there are multiverses, and the Snap created. In actuality, it was a total lie. He was just tricking him because he knew they'd believe anything, and he was just trying to get the glasses, which he knew about, which is kind of weird. How did he know about it? Anyway,
I think if you dig into it, there's a lot of loopholes.
What it boils down to is that Tony Stark had access, or because of proprietary software and creating everything, he has access to technology that no individual should ever have access to. I mean, he controls millions of drones that are up in satellites, and these kinds of things. This is a monopoly that it's fortunate for the Marvel universe that Tony Stark was a good enough guy and he used this for good. But this is the
we
the
started
horror story.
as defense guy.
Yeah, well, this is the horror story of what happens when all of that technology falls into the wrong hands.
Yeah.
Answer about how he knew about the glasses. He's the one that designed them.
Yes,
and
that's
Tony
right.
said, "Duh."
Yeah.
So,
but Mysterio tricks Nick Fury into believing that he is a man from another.
He tricks
alternate
everybody.
Earth. Yeah, and one of the kind of loopholes that I found was that if these elementals, which Mysterio explains as they're going to destroy the entire world if they're not stopped, they literally can't call in anybody bigger than Spider-Man to help. If the Earth is on the line,
they wouldn't call anybody. Thor off-world.
Yeah.
Don't talk about Captain Marvel. Don't talk. So whatever. It's about Spider-Man growing up and making a decision. The whole story about him finally getting with Mary Jane and growing up as a man. What Tony entrusted Peter Parker with everything. And there's a scene there where he's designing a new suit and Happy's looking back at him, and it's exactly Tony Stark. It's like Tony Stark, virtual reality, building everything and like moving things around. It's perfect. He is the new Iron Man, and essentially he designs a new suit and stuff like that. But
it's a passing of the torch.
It's a passing of the torch. So basically, after all that slow with the elementals and all that, it gets into kind of a final battle. We kind of move right there, where he's fighting like thousands of drones in London. And I got to tell you, I really like that scene. For a comic book guy, I mean, it's just him against a bunch of drones. He's doing loop-de-loops with the webbing, and he's like tricking all the machines, and he's using his spider sense, which is a big thing in this movie, where he's starting to learn about his spider sense. And they call it...
the Peter Tingle?
Peter Tingle. Real quick, what was the name of the system? Edith. So the name of the system's Edith. And you turn it on, you say Edith. The glasses again. And it's even when I'm when I'm dead, I'm
Yeah, even dead, I'm the hero.
even dead, I'm the hero of the world. It's really funny. But the scene itself where he's battling all the drones and, Mysterio's controlling it all. Man, I loved it. There's another scene also when he introduces the virtual reality, and Peter Parker's first thrust in this virtual reality world and he doesn't know what's happening. It was really cool.
I think a lot of people agree with you. I noticed a lot of people saying, they really enjoyed the action sequences. For me, it's so heavy CG. While it's still entertaining, it kind of takes away a little bit of it.
I thought it was really nice looking, though. We
well
always talk about
choreographed,
CG that's horrible. I didn't think this was horrible. I think it was good.
No, it was good quality CG. It's just it maybe takes away a little bit knowing all of it is essentially fake.
I think you get desensitized to a lot of things. When all of the CG is good, then none of it stands out, right? So, and again, yeah, I agree. I think the climax of the film is technically very proficient. For me, it's still... There's a lot of pitfalls. They still do a lot of posing. They still do a lot of, Spider-Man is all CG, so then you don't really get a sense of realistic stunts, realistic danger. There's a lot of comedy as deflection.
I don't know, though. He gets hurt quite a lot in this until he really taps into his spider
Isn't it
sense.
weird, though, that he gets stitched up at one point because he's been hurt, and yet in these other scenes he's colliding with bricks and concrete and
everything.
He
gets run over by a speeding train.
Yeah, and requires a few stitches.
Yeah, he just basically...
Spoiler! No. And the whole black suit was created for him because he didn't want to wear the Spider-Man suit on vacation because then he knows everyone would find out that he's Spider-Man at his school. Of course, Mary Jane always knew, and she knows now.
Yeah.
And of course, that makes them marks. So Mysterio tries to kill them too, and there's some stuff with that. But again, you said posing and stuff like that. For Spider-Man, it's classic to see certain web pulls, the way he's swinging, and I mean it. It made me feel like I was reading a comic book.
It's for the comic book fans, like those kind of things.
It's so good.
I think those that aren't into comics maybe wouldn't be watching it in the first place, but that's where you see these when he's landing on the ground and posing in these things. You think, well, why is he doing that? Well, that's specifically for comic book fans.
Well, yeah, and I'm really excited for the kids that are going to see this, and of course, for comic fans, everyone's going to love this movie. Honestly, it's a little bit slow at the beginning, the intros and stuff, and they're trying to get back into the world and life, and it's about 40. There's some action, but it's kind of boring. But with the 3D virtual reality and all that stuff, but they're building the story. But it does pick up, and I really enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was a good movie. I mean, it's not Endgame or whatever, but I think it was definitely better than Homecoming.
Yeah, I think I went into this with low enough expectations that it surpassed my expectations. But the weird thing is I don't remember hardly anything about Homecoming. So
that's the problem.
That's
kind of slow and boring too.
I think
somebody mentioned that Michael Keaton was the Vulture, and I thought, wow, that would be amazing.
I can't believe you forgot that.
Yeah,
he was
I thought,
pretty good.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Wait, I saw that. I guess it wasn't.
I think Gyllenhaal will be remembered a little bit better for this one. I think he was a better villain.
It's an unusual casting choice, I think, because he's a method actor who's been recently going after some very different sorts of roles. It's almost like he's trying to go for things that you've never seen him in before, and yet now he's embracing the Hollywood.
Look, when Disney and Marvel call, you answer the phone. Okay, nowadays you answer the phone. That's the way out. Well, not the way out, but that's good money.
Well, do you want to talk about the end credits?
Yeah, we'll finish it up. Eventually. So the end credits. There's 2 end credits. Why don't you talk about the first one?
I don't even remember what was there.
Do you remember?
The first one was just them swinging through.
Classic Mary Jane. Yeah. First time he meets Mary Jane, and he's taking her up with him, webbing, and they're going around town. She hates it, okay? And they land, and the thing is, while the final battle scene is, there's other bad guys that, Tony Stark's old employees that hate him. They created a film. They filmed it all of, spoiler, Mysterio's death. And they played it all over New York. And it's John Jameson. And he comes. Yeah. It's the same Jameson from Daily Bugle.
Yeah, J.K. Simmons is actually returning, playing the same role.
As the old Spider-Man.
J. Jonah.
Jameson, yeah, J. Jonah. Yeah. And it's cool. When I saw him, I'm like, yes, dude. Because,
it's a weird tie-in, I thought.
Yeah, it's great.
Because you're tying in somebody else's trilogy, right?
And you know how he hates Spider-Man. He's always trying to make him look bad. So it's a good thing. What's funny is when he was flying around at the end scene, he was taking pictures of himself.
Yeah.
And that's classic Spider-Man where he takes pictures of himself fighting crime, and then he brings it to the newspaper and say, look, I got these pictures, and he always sells it. So they're tying that in. They're going to grow it, and he's going to work for the Bugle next and all that. But the video they played all over New York Times Square or whatever, they edited it so it made Spider-Man look like the villain.
And then at the very end of the video, Mysterio, his dying breath, he reveals
who Spider-Man is. He's like,
Peter
Spider-Man's Peter Parker. So the whole world finds out. And that's it. And then, what's kind of tie in with the other one where Aunt May goes, what the, at the end when she sees these Spider-Man.
This is a huge repercussions going to be for
but it's
revealing
similar.
his identity.
What's interesting
the
about
world.
that too is it reminds me a little bit about like the deep fakes and the things that, again, we're getting back into like the present day social and political climate where people are sending out videos that may have been doctored and yet people are very willing to believe them.
That's interesting. Mike's really diving deep in this one, but I think he's right too. At the same time, this is Disney and they're trying to appeal to children, so maybe they're saying something underneath it all. But it's possible. Disney's pretty weird.
And it's not just Disney, right? It's not just Disney Marvel. It's also Sony Columbia. They've still got.
Oh, that's right. Sony.
They've still got their fingers in the pie here.
Whoa, hey, calm down. So the other part is there's one more ending at the end, and it's funny. Nick Fury and I can't remember her name.
Kobe Smulders.
Is that her real name?
That's the actress's name.
No, the other agent.
Agent.
I can't remember her name.
Coulson's.
No, Coulson's dead. The female brunette agent. They're driving. I can't believe I don't remember. I feel so stupid.
Is it like Hill or something?
Yeah, Maria Hill.
Maria Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So they're driving at the end, and they answer the phone, and they're the Skrulls. It's Talos and the other one, and they find, and then Talos gets on the phone. Yeah, we did it. We took care of it. A little bit of a mess, but we fixed it. And Nick Fury's in space on vacation, kind of like in this virtual reality fake vacation thing. So he's in space in this giant, like maybe it's like a Thor spaceship or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I almost thought it was like Captain Marvel's doing.
He was with the Skrulls.
Oh yeah,
so it's the spaceship that the Skrulls were on.
Yeah.
So it basically takes place. I know it's after Endgame, but it also takes place after. God, that's so weird because the Captain Marvel movie is set back 40 years ago. So what they're implying is, that Samuel L. Jackson has been a Skrull for the last 40 years.
I think maybe not necessarily that, but that's why the space station has been so much bigger, and it's been built up, and that's probably because those Skrulls have had 40 years to expand their home.
But at the same time, Samuel L. Jackson went with them maybe, and Talos stayed behind and pretended to be Samuel L. Jackson
for 40 years
for all the movies. That's very possible.
I don't know if they're implying that, but either way, as I mentioned to you guys, that the trend with these cutscenes is the one immediately after the movie's over is the important one, and here this is the reveal of not only Spider-Man being a villain, or being called out as a villain, but also him revealing Peter Parker's name to everybody. And then the final one after you've waited for like 5 minutes of all of the credits, the final cutscene is usually more of a joke. And here, although it's kind of a big deal that it wasn't Nick Fury the whole time, it actually doesn't make any difference because whether it was Nick Fury or Talos, it's the same end result. So it is kind of a throwaway comical sort of a thing.
Overall, guys, I give it. I'm going to say an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I really liked the final battle scene with him flying around, basically battling drones. That was it. But it was entertaining to see him being Spider-Man for like 10 minutes, just loop-de-loops. It was really good. And
it's so much more of an interesting action sequence than the previous scenes where he's fighting a giant elemental thing,
Yeah, that was really boring. It didn't make any sense. It really didn't. The fight scenes were stupid. Sorry. Anyway, loved it. Check them out either way you want. ConWithTheTwins.com or ConWithTheTwins on YouTube or whatever. Thanks again, guys, so much.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for having us on your show.
May the Force be with you. That's not Spider-Man. I didn't see Stan Lee.
Yeah.
So I thought he filmed a bunch more. I didn't see him. I must have missed it. But maybe the glasses.
It's possible he's not in there too.
Yeah, because the audience would have caught that.
Also,
somebody in the audience would have caught
it. We would have heard cheers if he had.
I think the glasses are part Tony Stark and Stan Lee.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is, again, this is not Marvel 100%. Sony and Columbia are still involved, which means maybe they're saving their Stan Lee footage for their own Marvel stuff.
No, dude, Stan Lee is everything. All right, you guys, we'll see you next time, okay? Have a good one. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that video, please hit that like button and subscribe now. Here's another video for your sickness entertainment. Have a great one. Bye-bye.